35. Okay, great. Okay, great. So this is a paper point well with PDC School of Finance Tsinghua, Professor Liao and PhD student Liao and joined with my colleague Chen and Xincheng Wang and Liao and Xincheng will be on the job markets. Okay, so what are the questions we are trying to talk about? Okay, so two questions. So first, we are trying to measure the income inequality online and its dynamic trend with some administrative data from a live streaming platform. And the second question is, like recently, like we see a bunch of expansion of the digital platforms, et cetera, and how this kind of expansion of digital platforms change the income inequality, particularly like the income distribution for people who work on this platform. And to be precise, we are not talking about the gig economy, not Uber, but more like the kind of the live streaming, like the superstar economy. Okay. And so the main findings, there are two main findings. So first of all, like we show that the income inequality on the cyberspace, on the live streaming economy is kind of huge, and we see an upward trend, very robust like increasing trend in this 2-year horizon. Okay, and particularly the top 10 streamers, the income share increased from about 15%, rising to the 45%. So there is a huge kind of complex between the interest of the platform versus the superstars on this platform. Okay. And the second part we are trying to do some identification to show that like if the platform gets larger, then we see larger inequality there. And we estimate, we use both kind of cross-section time series to get the estimated roughly when the platform size doubles and the Gini coefficients increase by like 2.1 to 8.1%. Okay, on this on the live streaming platform. And so literature, I will kind of quickly do this. So the estimation of the social inequality using the administrative data, but we are now talking about the whole country, but a small not small actually. Okay, really kind of leading a live streaming platform. And the second literature is the impact of the digital economy and the superstar economy, and particularly how this digital technology, like the live streaming technology, changed the power of the superstar. Actually, we argue that this kind of live streaming or the digital technology amplify the power of these superstars. And the third, our paper relates to the literature about the market size and inequality. And here's the data. Okay, so the background is creator economy. Okay, so we are talking about the creators today. Like you can create with TikTok, with whatever, but with YouTube, you can upload like the content you created, and you can earn a substantial income from the broad audience. Okay, the writers, singers, like the conventional way is that you interact with your audience kind of in person, like Jay Chou hosts, like the like in a stadium with like a fixed amount of like fans there, and now you can gain fans from internet. Okay, from internet. And specifically, we're gonna talk about the data source, which is a leading Chinese live streaming platform. Okay, so in US, this is actually kind of grows quite fast. Okay, so in US, roughly like 200 million hours were spent on the streaming platform, and in China. And also in US, you see like Facebook, YouTube, Amazon, that acquisition of Twitch, this becomes quite popular that people use live streaming services. People kind of gain content from the streaming platform. And in China, roughly 100 million live streamer users there. and represents roughly like 68% of the internet users have some interaction with the live streaming service. So this is not small, this is actually quite big. Okay. And here's the business model, particularly like the live streaming platform we work with is their business model operates this way, that the viewers can tip the streamers. The streamers can host a online room and interact with the viewers, and the viewers can send the gifts. Okay, so there is a group of like multi-channel network that help the streamers to gain fans, to gain popularity on the platform. Okay, so here's our data sample. We get the data, we get the administrative data from two representative entertainment type, which is the performing art like singing, dancing, playing music, and outdoor activities. And in our sample, there are more than 50 million users that is taxed to the Chinese ID. Okay, so we can confirm that there are actual more than 50 million users in China. And actually, like in total, we see that there are a lot of streamers there. But when we filter out kind of the part-time ones, or they just casually kind of broadcast for 1 hour or so, that we end up with a sample of 15,576 streamers there. They are like full time, they work over 50 hours on the live streaming platform, trying to be the superstar on this live streaming platform there. And our sample 40 hours over a 3-month period average. Okay, here's our definition, and we only get the data for 2 years. Okay. And here's the kind of the data dimension that we have. Okay, so one part of the data we have the attention data. Okay, so we know viewers who watches who. Okay, we know their attention allocation, and also we can see the tipping data. We know who pays for whom. Okay, we know who pays for whom. Okay, so the attention is more likely the interactive support that I invest, that I don't necessarily pay you money for the live streaming services, or like I get the money is actually the direct support. And as economists, we are more interested in the money part. Okay, but like the attention also we have the attention there. So here is the market description. Okay, here's the market description. So overall, we see the monthly tipping amount. So starting from like roughly 80 million RMB, over double to the 180 million RMB per month, which is kind of a sizable economy. And we look at the tipping amount per user. Actually, we see that the viewers they are getting more and more addicted to the platform and pay more over time. Okay, and then basically the main two parts. One is that we are trying to show the inequality and its dynamics and how it compares with the conventional, like say singers, movie star, super economy there. And the second part is we are trying to run some like software estimation to understand how the market size change the income inequality there. Okay, that's the agenda. So here's the inequality. Okay, we use the most simple measures are the share, the income share. If you look at the top one, that kind of increases from roughly 5% to the contribution to 15% of the contribution. Okay, so from 15 to 45. So basically, the top 10 streamers contribute a lot. Okay, to have a huge increase in market power over time. And even if you might say, okay, look, the income share, there might be a lot of people that they just do it for entertainment, not really as a job, or not really trying to be a superstar. And then we filter out like kind of the low income streamers there. And even if we filter like by the most kind of highest bar with monthly income over 1 million RMB. Over 1 million RMB, we also see increasing Gini coefficient from 0.4 all the way to the 0.65. Okay, so this result is super robust of the rising inequality in the live streaming platform. this is not really driven by a lot of kind of casual users, but also we see the increasing inequality even in the upper town, okay, in the most kind of the superstars. And also we look at, alternatively, we can do the selection by the number of the streamers. We look at all streamers top 10. You also see that the top 10, the Gini coefficients among the top 10 rising from 0.2 to over like close to 0.5. Okay, so the top 100, you see a more steady increase, and also the same case for the top 1,000. Okay, so it is not about the quantity of the streamers there, not just because the popularity of the platform, actually we see the income divergence among the streamers with whatever the cutoff there. And we also naturally, the income that follow a power law, okay? And we are trying to compare how this live streaming income distribution relative to a more like a conventional kind of a superstar economy, like the singers, the movie stars, the NBA top players. Of course, now you can watch the NBA games online, but basically, like, the conceptual framework is that, if you love Kobe Bryant, you can also love like Stephen Curry. There is no like mutual exclusive, like you can watch or you can spend time with them or watching their games with like kind of no like some competition, okay, but no like kind of limited time constraint there. And for the movie star, for the singers, also the same case. And then we plot like a log of income and log of rent. So basically, in short, if the slope is more flat, okay, if the slope is more flat, that reflects more inequality. Okay, then because that's saying, okay, even the rent, the income is lower. Okay, so if the slope is so flatter, and then that's saying, okay, conditional on the rent of the income gets lower. Okay, so you can see that the red dot is the streamers, the live streamers here, and their income kind of decay quickly as their rents goes lower. Okay, so that's also like compare with like the conventional superstar there. And we also get the data from the Netflix, so how many viewers there. We also see larger kind of, so we compare with Netflix and Douyin and Kuaishou are two leading short kind of, I don't know how to say it, but it tends to be like 30-second short video clips rather than the YouTube like a full content. But Kuaishou and Douyin tends to be like so Douyin is the TikTok, okay? So it's the parent company of TikTok. So they create a short, like 30-second video clips to attract users. Also, you see less kind of the time competition there, and you also see that the streamers income distribution is even more skewed relative to like Douyin and Kuaishou, and also the viewers on the Netflix. Okay, so our story here is very straightforward. That like the live streaming, the nature of the live streaming technology gonna tunnel like all the attentions to the leading streamers, and if you spend time with them, you have no time to interact with other streamers, and that naturally exacerbate the income inequality there, and even more severe than the conventional superstar economy, and also like the inequality on other digital platforms. Okay, and if we look at the power law, we use the power law to measure the inequality. We also see that the power law exponents gets larger over time. That means the curve gets flatter and flatter over time. That like the income mainly concentrated to the top. Okay, and so if we break down by the income. Okay, break down by the income. So we see the number of superstar streamers, which is defined that your income is higher than 1 million RMB per month. Okay, number of streamers over can make over 1 million RMB per month. That kind of increases from 30 to the like a 50 or almost a double. Okay, so they contribute. Actually, like that's basically the rich or the superstars on the live streaming platforms get first of all richer, and actually the market for the superstar actually extends. And if you look at the decomposition, okay, if you look at the decomposition, overall the income distribution, the top tier gets previous even slightly increasing share, but overall for other, like say for the red ones, for the middle income on the live streaming is actually shrinks over time. Okay, so the middle income actually shrinks, and for the size of the top superstars slightly like almost a kind of double here. And the remaining, so for the people who barely make some money, like from 0 to 10 RMB per month, actually was pretty stable. And the middle income, so basically the people who kind of make money on the live streaming platforms, kind of the middle income there shrink over time and the superstar extends. Okay. And then let me quickly, so I guess I don't have the time for the theory, but the theory is very straightforward. Okay, so if you do the in-person technology, okay, so if you're a professor, right, if you're a doctor, you spend time to teach to interact with patient or interact with like students, so you have a finite amount of students there. Okay, so if the student size, so basically for the in-person technology, if the student size, if there are more and more students come into the classroom, say demand for an MBA degree, okay, then like the top quality faculties can, the maximum class size, say for example 100, okay, you can only handle that amount of students, and then more faculty is gonna get a job, and basically that's kind of gonna alleviate the concerns of inequality, right? Because there are bigger MBA student group, and you just need more teachers, and their willingness to pay, of course, decreasing. That like, but you're gonna see that more and more people can enter the market and serve the students, and similarly serve the great patients. But like for the digital economy, that's kind of for the internet live streaming platform, gonna change the things, right? Say for example, for one connected course, one superstar teacher can, or one superstar faculty can satisfy the demand for a lot of students, okay, technically infinite amount of students. And that's, but one student's only demand for one course of like elementary econometrics. And one superstar faculty on a digital platform can crowd out the time spent to other faculty members. That kind of conceptual framework we have in mind. And then we talk about the market size and the inequality here. So why do we see as the platform expands over time, when people spend more and more money with the digital platform, why do we see the rising inequality here? Okay, so we are trying to provide some mechanism, or provide some evidence here to show like from the demand side and the supply side. Okay, so first of all, from the demand side, you can think about like the market size can be decomposed into two parts. One is the new users join the platform. Okay, that's like the extensive margin part, and the intensive margin talks about like, okay, per viewers are more addicted, per the existing users are more addicted to the platform and spend more money on the platform. Okay, so intensive margin and extensive margin both contributes to the expansion of the live streaming platform. Okay, and then we show you the statistics that how is viewers, users' behavior as a function of their tipping amount. Okay, so the x-axis here is the tipping amount per month. Okay, so the tipping amount per month, and then we plot like where their tipping money goes to. Okay, where their tipping money goes to. And we see a very strong negative relationship here, which means that for a user who get more addicted, okay, so here's net out the individual fixed effect, okay? So that's saying when one users are willing to pay more users, spend more money with the platform, then they tend to spend the money to the streamers, to top rank the streamers, okay? So it's just kind of a discrete part like this. So also they spend more time with the more top users. Okay, so over time, when they spend more money, they tend to follow the top streamers and keep there, and to we cannot really talk about the mechanism, but maybe to get more respect from other viewers, to get attention from more top streamers. So kind of like a quality upgrade there, that they are more interested in watching and also spending money with the top streamers and get the interaction with the top streamers there. Okay. And if you look at the loyalty, you also see the probability of shipping gets smaller and smaller. So the story here is that, okay, when you spend more and more money, you are less likely to shop around. Okay, you are less likely to shop around. When you find someone find a streamer on the platform to follow, and then you tend to form a very strong tie or strong bond with the streamer, and the shifting probability, the attention shifting probability gets lower and lower over time. Okay, gets lower and lower over time. So the story is like, it seems like on the demand side, okay, when the platform expands, a viewer interact with the streaming platform and start with shopping around, watch a lot of streamers and just randomly picking and see, kind of figure out quote unquote the quality, like who they really like to interact with. And once you get speak to one streamers, when you spend more and more money over time, and they tend to form a very strong bond with the top superstars and form the tipping relationship. And over time that you see the inequality rising there. Okay. And on the extensive margin, this is also so if you look at the top 10 active funds over time, okay, so the x-axis here is the number of months is relative to the registered months. Okay, so let's just focus on this plot. Okay, so for the HHI measures like how many streamers they follow and their team. So over time that you see, once I spend longer and longer time on the platform, then my attention concentration and my tipping amount concentration increase over time. Okay, so the more I interact, conditional on I stay with the live streaming platform, my tipping and my attention gonna get more concentrated on a specific or a specific group of streamers there. That's on the demand side. And let's look at the supply side, what the data tells us. Okay, so if we look at the labor response seems to be pretty strong here. Okay, so even if you look at so we just conditional on the 1,220 and 10. Okay, we just conditional on the top streamers, because if you think about, there are a lot of part-time or casual streamers that they don't really take this as a formal job, so it is meaningless to talk about their labor supply. So we focus on the people who really make substantial money on the platform. From top 1,000, we see a pretty linear and filled up there. So that's saying this is the streaming hours per month. So we see a very strong negative relationship that's saying the top streamers actually work pretty hard. They work pretty hard to occupy the time of their viewers and crowd of other streamers there. And this is true for the 200 and for the 20 and even for the 10. Okay, even if every month we just focus on the top 10 streamers, we see that the typically on average, the rank top 1 spend over 300 hours per month providing the streaming services to maximize the fans they can attract on the live streaming platform there. Okay, and let's talk about we try to do some identification here to talk about whether there is a true relationship between the market size and the inequality here. Okay, so our hypothesis is that the platform expansion will exacerbate the income inequality as people get more addicted or new users flow into the platform. Okay, so we do 4 identification. Okay, so first we run the cross-city estimation. We IV with the city features, say for example, the smartphone penetration or digital payment penetration, because all the payments cannot be done in cash. Okay, you have to keep through the internet platform, whatever, through WeChat, through Alipay, through like the digital payment method. So we use kind of different features to instrument for the city features and do the cross city estimation. And the second is the seasonality. The seasonality driven by the platform incentive to the streamers. Okay, so for the quarterly analysts, they provide the incentive for streamers to work hard, and they're gonna create kind of a quarterly, actually like a quarterly ranking there of all the top streamers. So at the quarter end, it is but probably because of the earning announcement. Okay, so they create a bunch of incentives for the streamers to advocate to their fans, keep them, and get higher rank by the quarter end. And we use this incentive scheme, and then the third, which is the capital raising events of the platform. Say before the capital raising, they did a lot of marketing endeavor trying to attract the kind of the extended market, okay, like new users to the platform. And we also see the income inequality rises during the period before before the capital raising event. Okay, and the third and the fourth is the COVID lockdown. Okay, we studied COVID lockdown in Wuhan. Basically, I think this is a quite powerful identification, because if you think about the plot that over time, like overall, like the market size keeps expanding. Okay, so we might worry about the indemnity there, but the COVID lockdown is a unique context that the entertainment demand in Wuhan dropped dramatically relative to Shenzhen. Okay, after the lockdown, that you see the market size shrink in Wuhan, and also we see the inequality of the inequality of the TV flow from Wuhan also drop significantly. Okay, so this is actually the only kind of the reverse when the market shrinks, you see the market inequality you see the income inequality drop there. Okay, so let me just kind of quickly go through the rest of the identification and show you the estimation. So basically we use the digital coverage index and GDP, and you see that it correlates a lot about the tipping amount in that city. And we basically use a bunch of, so the OLS gives us like the time series relationship of the market size, and the Gini is roughly like 2.3%. This comes from like the cross the city estimation, and all the IB results give like pretty similar estimation of roughly 2% here. And the tipping, the second identification is the time series. You look at the seasonality, okay, the seasonality, you do see the quarter end, you see a clear spike here, okay? So we believe this is not really manipulation, but data manipulation, but actually driven by the incentive scheme provided to streamers. And we use the quarter end ID to do the estimation in the time series, and the time series it depends on like how we calculate the Gini, but overall the response, our baseline is Gini 50, conditional on the streamers making over 50 RMB per month, and we see the elasticity is roughly like 7.4 to 8.6. Okay, that's using from the ID of the quarter end down here. And let me just directly goes to the identification 3, that you see that before, okay, so in the time series, the average log keeping amount actually increased in this horizon. This is the period that before the capital raising of the firm, and you do see that they create a bunch of kind of marketing endeavors here to boost the keeping amount here. Okay, and we estimate like the kind of the first time of the first event is when they first file the capital raising to the regulators, and this is the actual date that the capital raising is finished. Okay, so see that actually dropped after the capital raising, but after they successfully raise more capital, the market size dropped. Okay, and then we do the estimation with this, and also get roughly like the elasticity about 7.7 here. And then the last one is the COVID, the discontinuity of the COVID. So if you look at the Wuhan here, okay, so the log tipping amount dropped dramatically by 50%. Okay, dropped by 50% here. And the number of paid users will also see a discontinuity in Wuhan lockdown. And the number of the streamers also dropped. Okay, the number of the streamers in Wuhan also dropped significantly here. And the placebo, if you look at Chengdu, we do not see any discontinuity here. Okay. Sorry for the typo. But overall, that what we do is we use the Gini coefficient in Wuhan minus like other cities like Chengdu, Shenzhen, Beijing, Shanghai. So when the Wuhan lockdown, people, at least at that time, people feel this is kind of a local thing, not really gonna grew into a global pandemic. Okay, so at that time, so actually we do not see any panic or any like entertainment demand decrease in other cities. And what we do is we use a different kind of quote unquote like a DID idea that we use the Gini coefficient drop in Wuhan compared to Chengdu, and also the market change, the market size change, and estimate the elasticity from the comparing Wuhan with other major cities with a similar kind of number of users or similar shipping amount there, and we get the estimation ranging from 2.3 to 4%. Okay. And there are also a bunch of additional work trying to figure out whether like the workers, whether the workers of the streamers, the superstar there actually respond to the expanding market size, to their total income there. But I guess I don't have time to show. But overall, we find our estimation shows that basically, if we regress the streaming time, the delta change in the streaming time on their change of the teaching amount. So we basically regress the streaming hours on their income roughly. Okay, we get a coefficient roughly like 20% that says when the market size doubles, when the market size is doubled, it tends to work harder by roughly like 20% there. Okay, so we see the discontinuity here that the streaming time dropped dramatically, and we use kind of like a Bartik shock that the streamer's exposure to Wuhan. Okay, if you have a very strong exposure to Wuhan, then when the market size shrinks in Wuhan, you are more likely to be affected. You're more likely to change your labor supply decision. Okay, so we use basically pre-COVID exposure to Wuhan and see how is the variation, the sudden shock of the market change in Wuhan changed their streaming time there. So roughly we get estimation. Also like of the IV approach has a 25.6% labor change. Okay, so overall, like let me quickly conclude. If you look at the whole live streaming economy, that we see the top streamers work harder, and when the market expands, the top streamers benefit more, and as they benefit more, they get a larger market size, and they also work harder to crowd out other streamers on the platform. Okay, and there are a couple concerns of the role of algorithm there. Naturally, the algorithm gonna tunnel resource toward the top streamers, but this is probably true everywhere. Okay, if you think about superstar firms or superstar like the singers, the top streamers also get more attention on the public media. So the algorithm is there. Might actually be a reason to accelerate inequality, but actually, if you really talk with these digital platforms, like they actually want to combat the inequality. They have a huge incentive to combat the inequality. Because if the top streamer, top one occupy 20% of my revenue, then the streamer has a very strong bargaining power with the firm that affect the firm cash flow stability a lot. And if the top streamers can spread, okay, I go to the competitor. Okay, so they create a bunch of algorithms trying to mitigate the rising income inequality, but at least like from the data we have, it seems not to be a very successful endeavor. The income inequality there still kind of extended, and the middle income streamers get fewer and fewer there. Okay, and then quickly conclude. So internet does not necessarily promote equality, and as the market size gets larger, how to kind of like equalize the income there, make all the streamers have a voice to the public to get to be more and more important. And also we show that the bigger market gonna create larger inequality, even the even the algorithm tries to combat the inequality, we still see the bigger market exacerbate the income inequality of the streamers for the people who really rely on the live streaming income. Okay, and that's it. That's all I have for today. Thank you.
Hello. Hey, thanks for the wonderful presentation. So I'm start my question right away. I think it's a very nice, very novel analysis, very extensive. So the paper has 122 pages. So to give you a sense about how complete their internal analysis is, I even joked with one of the organizers saying like you should buy me coffee or giving me this paper to read, and which I learned a lot actually. So it's a proprietary and very detailed data. So imagine getting all those like viewing records, all those tipping records. That's not easy. So I think they have great data and an important question as well. So how does market size would affect the income dispersion? Note that I didn't use inequality here, I used dispersion. I'll explain why soon. And they're the first to provide such empirical evidence. And also this online economy is gaining a lot of influence, as you have been aware, especially if you're familiar with the mainland Chinese economy. So it's really great timing to improve our understanding of this economy. So to give you a structure of their data or what their setting is, you have two types of viewers, one paying and the other non-paying. And they were focusing mostly, I think, on paying viewers. And they both actually contribute traffic to the platform, the live streaming platform. And the paying viewers also tips the live streamers, but the tips are not collected fully by the streamers. They're going to revenue share with the platform. So that's their setting. And the main finding is, of course, increased market size as measured by the total tipping amount leads to higher income dispersion among the live streamers. That's the main finding. And the dispersion is measured by the Gini coefficient, of course, as illustrated by Center as well. So, and the important thing is they're benchmarking such findings to the traditional, like other selected groups, traditional creative industry, or like commercialized sports, for example, NBA, Hollywood movie stars, billionaires, and they're saying the Gini coefficient is actually much, much higher. To give you a sense, like they're reporting about 0.9-ish Gini coefficient, but the counterpart for Hollywood movie stars was lower than 0.5, not even 0.4. So a big, big difference. And it's actually not driven by a lot of like low-end new entries coming in. So you might think like Gini coefficient might mechanically increase as a lot of like new entries come in. So it's observed both in general and among the top earning streamers. It's not a mechanical relationship, in case you're wondering. And of course, this is actually the first time I see a paper having 4 talks. And I explained, I think a lot of the analysis actually provide a very robust causal relationship. So no doubt there, I'm not gonna be the identification police here. So there's no room for me to do that. And the economic significance for the effect is also pretty important. So the first job I think I'm going to do is to provide you with a bigger picture of the economy. So you might be wondering what exactly is the economic definition, what is the economy's environment here? So I'm going to provide you with a more comprehensive picture. So the blue parts are included in the data in the paper. But one thing that is not discussed or not really discussed empirically in the paper is the existence of multi-channel network companies. So they are actually very important for live streamers, especially like the very large MCN companies. When they sign a live streamer, before and after is going to make a big difference because they can help develop user base for both the platform and the live streamers. And the platform might in turn help monetize the live streamer on behalf of the MCN company. So this contracting relationship is actually quite important for this economy. And to make things better, the paying viewers might pay the MCN companies through like other channels or this site through other channels than tipping. Like for example, they might do conveniently e-commerce or marketing or online shopping on top of tipping the live streamers. So that is the first thing I want to add to this entire economy. The second thing is we also have the businesses, or the brands, the corporations. And they will seek the help from the platform to help them market everything and market their products. And they can actually authorize the MCN companies through advertisements, authorize them to do promotions on their behalf. And in return, the MCN companies for this site is going to give them the return on their investment or return on marketing. So this is like the entire sort of more comprehensive picture of the economy. If you're thinking about the supply and demand, what is actually production here in this economy, this is the rough sense. So think about this site as the demand for live streaming content. This side, they are the production, they are the supply of live streaming content. And the platform in the middle is the distribution channel. So that is the picture I wanted to show you, just to sort of give you a better sense of the entire picture. And my first comment is, of course, very naturally, what is the role of the MCN companies? So are they playing a role in promoting sort of the dispersion of income? So to some extent, you can think about MCN the production technology for live streamers. If you're signed with an MCN company, then the company is going to provide you with the ability to develop user base, give you a assistant, even help you prepare content. So that is like one way to interpret MCNs. And you could separate live streamers with an MCN affiliation if you have data, or you can collect the data. And if you calculate Gini coefficients at the MCN level instead of the streamer level, it might be different. So I think this is not to say the question of the paper is not important or is distorted in any sense. This is to sort of suggest a potential channel for the effect. And I only have about 4 minutes. I'll be quicker. So this is to give a sense about why I have this hypothesis. From 2018 to 2019 and 2020, this is the increase in the estimated number of MCN companies in China. If you compare this increase to this increase, which is in the paper, this increase in the number of superstar streamers, you can definitely see a timing coincidence. But I don't have the data, I don't know like how many of these superstars on that particular platform was signed with any MCNs. I can't say this is causal. I'm just showing you a correlation here. Furthermore, this is the authors that talked about this Gini coefficient line. But if you pay attention to this dashed line, which is the number of streamers for this category, then you can see around the same time of the MCN companies development, you see a big decline in the lower income range of live streamers, but not as much as the top streamers. So the indication is the MCN companies helped or promoted the superstar streamers and crowded out the lower end streamers. That's probably what happened. The second comment is about inequality versus dispersion. So inequality is usually associated with negative connotations. Like for example, this is the definition by the Xincheng Encyclopedia of Human Geography. It points to unequal or unjust distribution of opportunity resources. So then, if this is really the subject, then probably it helps to establish a justifiable level of dispersion, like the benchmark. And also, if you compare it to other creative industries, that they are a great starting point, but they're more likely dispersion, not necessarily inequality. And I only have 3 comments, so this is the last one. Alternative measures, or the main measures used in the paper. So dispersion is measured using income of the streamers. But if you think about dispersion measured for other industries like movie stars, NBA players, they are actually based on market values. So these are how, like in the paper, they measure the benchmarks. Like lifetime salaries. And NBA players' salary is actually based on their projected future career as well. It's not like current income. So is there any way to estimate the market value of live streamers, taking into account their future projected income earning abilities? So that's the alternative or the main method for the dispersion. And related, if you think about the market value, then the non-paying viewers, they're contributing to traffic. They're not tipping, but they're contributing to traffic. That might increase the live streamer's market value as well. So that is about the market size. So how about measuring market size using all viewers or viewers with at least some time contribution to live streaming platform? So that's the third and last comment. So a final thought, if you want to benchmark an industry, like benchmark this live streaming industry to another industry, then my personal take is that it actually more closer to the mobile gaming industry, in fact, if you think about it. Like they both rely on the intensive use of mobile phones. And if you think about tipping versus the in-app purchases in the mobile gaming industry, they are quite similar. If you think about the production technology, one with NCNs, the other with large internet technology giants, also super concentrated among the top. And the fan loyalty versus the game stickiness. So this is not really like a suggestion for how the paper should improve. This is just my thought I wanted to throw in here in case you're focusing on thinking about this industry as like Hollywood NBA benchmark. This is another benchmark you can use. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
So thanks for the discussion. So yeah, do you have anything to go?
Oh, yeah, this is great. So basically we neglect the non-paying users. I think that's a fantastic point that we should look at that as a potential to convert into the market value. Yeah, that's an idea I really like. So any question or thoughts? Okay, great. Maybe you go for lunch. All right.